going on, guys? This is Qazi. Welcome back to another epic video, and I'm smiling because I know you guys are probably rolling your eyes going, another teal and orange tutorial? Come on, man. Let me just say this. There are so many different variations of teal and orange, so there is no one size fits all. In this tutorial, I'm gonna give you real world examples. We're gonna look at some of our favorite movies, and then I'll also tell you why they went with a certain look. Then we're gonna create 3 different variations. So in the title it says cool and warm, but I ended up actually also doing a neutral version. And then I will also sum it up at the end by telling you when you should be using which particular look that you're gonna learn here. So there's a lot of brand new information here. There's gonna be a lot of practical information here as always. Grab a notepad, and we recently did a survey. Majority of you, regardless of the skill set, are struggling with shot matching, skin tones, balancing, and working with 8-bit footage. So I created a 1-hour long free training that covers all of that. Plus, we'll wrap up the training with an extensive Q&A, and you'll also get a link to download the practice footage, power grades, and some of my personal LUTs. Do not forget to sign up for the training. Link is up top and in the description below. If you guys are enjoying the content, it will mean the world to me if you take a moment, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more awesomeness. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, and let's roll the intro. All right, so since this episode is about cool versus warm teal and orange look, I'm gonna break it down by showing you a couple of examples from our favorite movies, okay? So let's start with Joker and look at this teal and orange, okay? So I've already dropped on the color palette so we can see the color story in the scene. Also, we have a quad up, and this is going to be a major player along with our vector scope. So keep an eye here on these two, okay? So this is a colorized waveform that gets to tell you, hey, what is the overall image made of? All right, so there's tons and tons of orange in this shot. If I were to go here and just grab this and take it in the opposite direction, just for the example's sake, you can see how the color changes, right? And now we have tons of blue at the bottom, and then we have a little bit of warmer tones up in the middle. So I'm gonna reset that, but this gets to tell you what's happening in the frame. And then in our vector scope, we get to see, hey, which quadrant everything is sitting at. Right? So we have our warm quadrant up here to the top left, and then we got our magentas on the top right, we got our greens in the bottom left, and we got our cyans and blues in the bottom right. Okay? So keeping that in mind, let's go look at this example. So this will qualify as a cool teal and orange. So here's a perfect example of warm teal and orange. We got just a tiny bit of teal coming through, right? Like it's just seeping through a little bit, but majority of the image is made of warmer tones. And then here we have a really nice even split, okay? So we get our perfect skin tones, right? If I hover over and you look at it, so this is the skin indicator, and I'm gonna hover over and check it out, how good the skin tones are, okay? They're right in the middle. And then we get all this nice teal coming through. So it's a perfect split, nice split toning, everything looks really good, okay? But guys, also keep an eye on the contrast in all these shots, okay? That is one of the rookie mistakes that a lot of people make, where they want to preserve all this detail in their shadows. I want you to focus on that, okay? How they're creating a really nice pop in their images by pushing the contrast. Let's focus on the main things, and let's not worry about the stuff that's not very important. When you keep detail in these areas and in the building in the back, all you do is distract your audience, okay? Same thing here, just look at it. My eye goes right here where it's supposed to go. It doesn't go here, it doesn't go over there, it goes right here, okay? This is where it's supposed to go. Look at the contrast here, once again. Let's move on to our next shot, which is also from Secret Life of Walter Mitty. And if we look at this shot right here, again, perfect split. If I go to her skin tones, look at it, just done to perfection, okay? And it's a very extreme grade, okay? It's very, very aggressive. And just look at it right here. We're getting our oranges in the form of salmon, really. And then we got all these nice teals happening here, all right? With Moonlight, a lot of this is done on set, Okay, they change the lights to sodium vapor for the street lights, and then they complement that with these cooler tones over here. All right. Obviously, then there's a grade on top of it to accentuate everything, but set design and art direction goes a long way. Okay. Once again, it's sitting more on the warm side. Let's go to Walter Mitty again. We're going to keep seeing the same theme. We can see it here too. Nice teals here and clean up top. Okay. And then this is an extreme example of teal and orange, which is more on the gritty, nasty, New York, like sickly teal and orange, right? So even if I were to go close and hover over on the skin, you'll see like where the skin is sitting instead of the skin indicator right there. Like look where the skin is sitting. But it's not like, oh, this is wrong. Like skin should always look perfect. No, they're trying to portray how terrible things are in Gotham City, and color grading is taking it to the next level. Look at the waveform, what is happening here. We got some oranges right here. Majority of the image is this just unapologetic green with some teals. Moving on to this shot. This is a really well done teal and orange, and sort of like the epitome of what we think of when we think of teal and orange, right? So this got a nice teal going on, and then the outside has a really, really nice warm tones. Okay, moving on to this shot. Obviously, with your eyes, the building should never look teal. It should look gray, and that's not what's happening, especially this building right there, right? Like it should be gray. These lights should be white, and that's not what's happening here because obviously it's done through color grading. Then we are getting a little bit of orange in the jacket. Again, going back to the art direction part. And it's a very nice pushed grade, but doesn't feel out of place. Moving on to Moonlight, and a very iconic shot from this movie. Look at how much teal is in here, right? Like when I hover over, like look where my circle is. And then his skin is very nice. Like it's just perfect skin tones right in the center. And then that's what creates that complement. And that's what also sells this look. Like it's extreme, but when the skin tone is proper, it sells the effect. Moving on to this shot from Joker. Life is chaotic. Crazy stuff is happening. So there's tons of green to help out with that. And if I go over to the skin tones, they're completely off because he's ill. So there's no better way to show it than the way Jill did it here. Okay. Obviously, the ground should be gray, but it's not. It's green, because that's the look that we're going for. It's extreme, it's unapologetic, and that's something that everybody should learn to do. You have to push your grades. When it feels normal, you haven't graded your footage yet. It is just a color-corrected image. When it just starts to feel like, okay, I feel a certain thing when I look at this image, that's when you started color grading. So keep that in mind, all right? Another shot from Walter Mitty, and what we see here, super clean highlights, right? They're pretty clean. We can see it in our waveform. We see a lot of teal down here in the midtones and in the shadows. Just keep an eye on the contrast, like how there is detail here that's just going to nothingness, just pure black, all right? Goes to abyss. And that's what I'm talking about. Same thing with highlights, okay? Be unapologetic with your contrast majority of the time. If you're going for a low-con fashion look, whatever, then do however you want to do it. But majority of the time, the contrast is going to be like this for the images to really pop. So when we think of like, oh, film look means low contrast, that's not necessarily true. I mean, look at the contrast in the shot, okay? And this is, quote, end quote, the epitome of a film look, cinematic look, and it's pushed. This is more of a warm teal and orange pushed toward green. So it's green bias, but overall warm. And if I were to just go here and take this and start going in the opposite direction to pull that green out, now we see we're pulling the green out, and if somebody goes, all right, dude, now there's too much blue in the shadows, we can obviously just go in the shadows, and I can pull that down to kind of counter that, bring the green down, blue down, and now if we'll look at it, you know, we completely change the personality and the intention of the shot. So I'm just going to undo that, go back to how it was done. So keeping all these examples in mind, let's go and look at what we're working with. So this is our shot. I'm going to park it on my hero frame, which is going to be somewhere around here. okay? And this is shot on Blackmagic in log. So I'm gonna go ahead, this is gonna be a simple 5 nodes node tree, okay? So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pull these two down, and I'm gonna pull this one up, and majority of the work is gonna get done here in these two nodes. So here we're gonna do a color space transform. I'm gonna choose Blackmagic. We're gonna choose White Gamut Gen 4.5, and we're gonna choose Blackmagic again, and we're gonna select Gen 5 film. Here we're gonna select Rec. 709, so it's gonna give us nice colors, and here we're gonna select, instead of Gamma 2.4, we're gonna select Cineon Film Lock. Why am I doing that? Because I'm gonna be applying a film LUT from here. These film looks are free. They come with Resolve. I'm not sure if you get them with the free version, but with the paid version, you have these. And these are film prints. Let me show you why I'm using this and what it's doing on the back end. So in order to do that, let's just go here, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and hover over, and you can see what's really happening. So the one that I'm gonna be using, usually we go with Kodak, right? So Kodaks are really nice, right? Like if I hover over and you can look at it, if I just drop that on and you can see what it's doing, right? So it's pretty nice. The middle one is always going to be neutral. So D60 is neutral, D65 is going to be cooler, D55 is going to be warmer. Okay, so 3 different variations. But because we're going for a over-the-top teal and orange look, I'm gonna this time go with the Fujifilm 3513. Okay, and we can start off with the middle ground, but obviously here's going to be a cooler version, here's going to be a warmer version. But if I go to the middle one, which is sort of like Walter Mitty, you can obviously see we're bringing in those teals, right, in our shadows, and then it cools off. So this is very close to that Walter Mitty action that was happening. Okay, like see? So now the contrast is really, really pushed on this one, which is not gonna help us out. Why? Because this shot on its own is super contrasty, right? We got these crazy highlights in the back, and then we got tons of shadows here, all right? So let's go ahead and apply that LUT that we selected, and this is what I meant. As soon as I applied it, look what happened. It just, everything is blown out pretty much. This could be a look and somebody can just leave it here and, you know, it's nice. Like it's just a push look. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to start with my gain. I'm going to pull it down quite a bit. I'm just going to go pretty aggressive, somewhere around here. And now I'm going to lift my gamma up. I want to see more detail in his jacket, right? Like under his chin, all that. Like, so I'm going to keep my gain up, bring it down somewhere around here. Basically, I don't want my image to be thin, okay? I want a lot of information in my image. I'm going to take my lift. I'm going to pull it down just a tiny bit. Why? Remember what we saw in all the professional examples, how the contrast is just so pushed? So if I do before and after, look at how we were able to get all our detail back everywhere. We can see through the windows now, okay? We can perfectly see our guy. He is well exposed. The skin is retaining a lot of information. Everything is basically retaining a lot of information, okay? I can see his jacket even in the darker areas. I can see the backpack, okay? So we're keeping all of that information. And we can start to see the teal in our image. And all that heavy lifting is happening right here, okay? So if I just go here again and look at it, you see the teal coming through, right? And we can even see it here. And then our whites are clean like Walter Mitty, right? That example. Because the laptop shouldn't be this teal, right? The laptop should be gray. But it's teal because the LUT is doing its thing. Now, this could be a really, I mean, this could be it, right? So we started here. This is our Rec. 709, by the way. This is what we created. This is a really nice film look. Rec. 709, and here we are. So this already is a really, really nice look, but just for the example's sake, I'm gonna do this. So let's just call this a Walter Mitty neutral teal and orange, okay? Or more like a little bit on the cooler side, teal and orange. I'm gonna add a version. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to just add tons of teal in this area. And the way I'm going to do that is through my printer lights, and I'm just going to start adding cyan. So keep an eye in the offset area, and I'm going to just add tons of teal like that. I mean, that's kind of pushed, right? Like you might be going, dude, what the hell are you doing? That's totally fine. Now what I want to do is I want to go under my log wheels. I'm going to take my midtones and I'm going to start adding some warmth, okay? Something like that. I'm going to warm it up a little bit, okay? Something like this. And then I'm going to go under my highlights and I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to add some warmth like such. And I'm going to park it here. And now if you look at where we were, the version that we liked and we thought it had a nice teal and orange going on, to like what we created. Okay? And remember the examples from Joker, how pushed they were? And now that I'm looking at this, I'm going, well, I can work on the contrast a little bit, right? Remember the contrast was so pushed in all those other examples. So now what we can do here is I can go back here under my contrast and start cranking it a little bit. Not too much, but just go too far first, obviously, always, and then push it back. And even if I park it somewhere around here and do before and after, I mean, let's compare it between the two versions. So this was our neutral, quote unquote, like Walter Mitty version. And then this is more like a hybrid between what we saw in Joker / Tenet. So that's what I would look at. Right? This could also be considered our warmer version, all right? Now, I can create another version based on this, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, and let's warm it up even more, okay? So I'm going to go here, I'm going to take my gain, and I'm going to start warming it up quite a bit. Let's just push it and then pull it back. Then I'm going to take my, let's just add a little bit magenta, not too much. So even if we keep it somewhere around here, right? This could be our warm look, okay? This could be our cold teal and orange. This could be our neutral. Now, which one you like the most, you be the judge of it. I personally, I don't know now. I mean, I really like the warm. I feel like the warm came out looking really cool. And then this one has just such a film like stylized look, and there's so much separation here. And then the neutral is kind of like, it doesn't have as much personality now when I'm looking at it. It just feels sort of like Rec 709, which it's not, because this is Rec 709. By the way, what we should do is I'm going to create one more version, and then I'm just going to actually copy this, come here, get rid of this, and then paste that. So then this way, I'm going to go to our split screen. I'm going to make it bigger, get rid of this, get rid of that, and now we can look at all our 4 versions. So this is our Rec 709, okay? This is our base, remember? That was sort of like a neutral teal and orange. And then this is our cooler teal and orange, warmer teal and orange. And I gotta be honest with you, all 3 of these, the treatments that we did, they're so great. I mean, it just totally depends on what you're going for. Personally, I like this because I feel like it just looks so much like it's straight from a movie. But so is this one, right? Like it's just done right. Our black points are proper. So once our anchors are in place, we can create a really push look and sell it, right? The blonde here is still blonde. It's not looking green or anything like that. Same thing here, right? I think this one lacks tons of personality. Just to be honest with you, I would rather go with this or this, but obviously it's going to depend on what it is that you're working on. You're working on a documentary and you want it to look a little bit better than just Rec 709. You can go with this and it'll look really good and nobody's going to say, like I want to puke. This looks like, you know, super push, teal and orange, blah, blah. Nobody's going to say that. So you're going to basically ninja your teal and orange in in a very subtle way. I mean, these two looks can be used for sci-fi, action, thriller, music videos, whatever have you. So hopefully this was helpful. I'm gonna come out. I'm going to bring our scopes back, and let's just choose one version, and then we'll do a look breakdown. So in this case, I'm gonna go and select this version right here, and let's just see. So we started with this, did a color space transform, left it for Cine on film log. Why am I doing this? If you don't know why I'm using a certain node order, go check out my free training. Link is down below, okay? You definitely want to watch that and understand the proper structure of the node tree. Then we went in and did our balancing and our exposure just by using our lift gamma gain. Look at the power of lift gamma gain. And then we went and created this really nice teal and orange. And now what I'm going to do, one last thing, we can just go here and type in grain. And I'm not going to go over the top on this one, okay? So I'm just going to do 35 millimeter 400T. And it's just kind of subtle. I don't even know if you guys will be able to see it on YouTube, but if I do before, so this is before, this is after, right? Like just focus right here, before, after. So it's not much, it's just enough to just add some weight and character to the entire image. Let's check out the final look in full screen. So as you saw, there's so many different types of teal and orange, okay? It can go in the green quadrant. It can go be extra warm with just a hint of teal. It could be a perfect split, as we saw in Walter Mitty, and then there's so many other variations. So hopefully there was a lot that you guys gained from this video. Now, let me just say this again, guys. It's very important to understand a proper node tree structure. And my free training is gonna help you with all of that and then some. So click up top or in the description below. Do not forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more awesomeness. Drop a comment below. Let me know what kind of stuff you wanna see on this channel. And guys, remember, work hard, get obsessed, get possessed. I will see you guys in the next video.